Yeah.
Winterfell. So slow, man. 你一分钟多少 again?
Yeah, I know. Almost 2分钟
You fast forward damn long.
Just now was 10:14.
Now it's still 10:14.
Yeah, it's gonna be 10:15 soon.
Explode soon. Dibabu.
Hands are so cold.
I'm actually quite fascinated that my camera can catch all the fumes. You can see the fumes, right?
Yeah, it's pretty good. Come on, man.
What the shit?
Oh, you guys here? It's gonna go.
He's gonna talk. Oh, it's a mic.
Tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou katoa.
Tēnā
Nau mai,
koutou.
haere mai. Kia Wai-O-Tapu. Kia ora.
Kia ora.
Oh, no, I'm sure we can do a little bit better than that. Kia ora.
Kia ora.
Awesome. Kia ora, good morning and welcome. Welcome to Wai-O-Tapu Thermal Wonderland. My name is Dave and I'm one of the guides here at Wai-O-Tapu. And welcome to the Lady Knox Geyser. But before I talk to you about our lovely lady, just a couple safety issues to cover. Now, for those of you heading to the thermal park after the eruption, please be aware that you're entering an active volcanic area. For your safety, it's very important. So please stay on the formed pathways, follow signage, and closed footwear is recommended. Thank you. So in the 1800s, it was estimated to be around 130 active geysers in this region. But by the 1970s, sadly, that number had been reduced to only about 15. Now, the story behind the Lady Knox Geyser began just over 100 years ago. Now, at that time, this area was nothing more than a barren wilderness covered in a light shrub and bush. And not too far away from where you folks parked your vehicles this morning, there was a prison. In fact, it was New Zealand's first open prison camp. Now, the prisoners sent there were required to clear that shrub and bush to make way for the planting of pine trees. And naturally, it was a group of these prisoners that stumbled across this clearing. And again, what you're seeing now, it's not what you would have seen then. All that was here was a beautiful, clear, hot spring with a little ledge around it, about so high. Now, to give you folks an idea of what it looked like, but on a much smaller scale, if you look over at the rock formation to my right. Now, if you look carefully, you'll see a shrubby-looking plant literally growing out of the rock. Now, that's Manuka, or New Zealand tea tree, and its base marks the edge of what was then another hot spring. So, 100 years ago, prison life in New Zealand, it was rather primitive. Those prisoners were around a half a day's bumpy horse ride from Rotorua, and they did not have the luxuries of life, and they certainly did not have access to constant hot water. So a group of these prisoners thought that it would be a good idea to use the hot water spring they had found to wash their dirty clothes in. Now that would save them the bother of having to gather firewood to boil water so they could wash their clothes. One day a group of these prisoners were down here washing their clothes in the hot spring. So they pulled their clothes out, scrubbed them up with some soap, dipped them back in to rinse them, and what happened next is they got one heck of a fright. That hot spring erupted, their clothes went flying into the air. They went running into the bush behind me. So we now know that the soap broke the surface tension off the top level of cooler water. So below my feet, we have two chambers of water. Now the bottom chamber, at a temperature well over 150 degrees Celsius. Now that's held at bay by the top cooler level of water, just under 90 degrees Celsius. And by breaking surface tension, that allows the two temperatures of water to mix, which then flashes into steam, causing this geyser here to erupt. So, here I have in my hand a bag of an environmentally friendly soap-like substance called surfactant. This surfactant has been chemically engineered for us to do exactly the same thing, but to leave behind no negative effects on the environment. So I'll pop this in and we'll see what happens.
Oh my god.
Oh my god. So exciting. It's really baking soda. Like,
Is it gonna run?
yeah, it's just going to move away. Lah. It take a while, surfactants take a while.
Boom! Okay, so I've got enough time to talk to you folks about what's happening beneath my feet. So in a few minutes there'll be some bubbles starting to form around the opening of the vent. And as the hot water forces its way up through the cooler levels, we shall see the water beginning to surge as she builds up to her first full eruption. Now at this point, I may have some skeptics in the crowd saying, "Hey, that's not a natural geyser." But I can assure you folks it is. And even if I did not use the surfactant, she would still erupt on her own accord. But predicting when she'll do so, that's almost impossible. So for tourism, and tourists such as yourself to enjoy, we've been inducing her for the last 80 years or so. When she does erupt, there'll be a bit of water hanging around in the air, and some of that water may drift over towards the crowd. But don't worry folks, by the time it gets to you, it'll be nice and cool, but with a slight soapy feel. Now to get something that looks like that hot spring there, to look like the geyser we have here, what happened was the prisoners came down, placing rocks around the base of the hot spring to try and create a chimney. Now their reason for doing so, it was purely for their own entertainment. Now in those days they did not have TVs, computers and so on. They had to create their own fun. And by creating a chimney, that forced the water into a more narrow opening, which created a stronger jet of water, ultimately sending their clothes even higher. And every time there's an eruption, the water that flows over here, that gets evaporated by the sun and the wind, leaving behind the mineral silica, which is responsible for her white colour and shape. Our geyser, she's named after Lady Constance Knox. Now in New Zealand's history, quite honestly, she wasn't very important, but her father was. Now her father was a gentleman called Lord Ranfurly, and he was New Zealand's 15th Governor-General. And in May of 1903, he was out here with his family inspecting the prison, just to see how they were going on. To mark the occasion, his daughter, Lady Constance Knox, christened our geyser, and that's how the association comes about. Just a quick bit of geology about our geyser. She's over 150 years old. Her natural reservoir below her holds 30,000 litres of water. Her natural eruption cycle is somewhere between 36 to 72 hours. She can erupt for up to 1 hour, reaching varying heights of between 10 and 20 metres high. But how high she does go and how long she plays for, that's purely dependent on barometric pressure, but also the amount of water that she can collect from the ground in a 24-hour period. Now, you can find geysers in 3 other main areas throughout the world. The largest group is in Yellowstone National Park in the United States of America, with another group in Kamchatka in Russia, and with a further cluster in Iceland. Now, it's actually Iceland that gives us that word geyser, which in English it simply means to gush forth. Down here in New Zealand, we do not call these geysers. Now, a geyser to us is a 2-legged elderly gentleman, and not one of these. So if you have any questions about our geyser, or about Wai-O-Tapu, don't hesitate to ask either me or any of the other staff at the centre. We'll be glad to help. So please take plenty of photos and enjoy your day here with us at Wai-O-Tapu, Thermal Wonderland. Thank you very
My
much.
legs numb already. I've been standing in the same position very long. His leg also numb already. Throw some clothes inside. You throw some clothes inside. Who's good? No, my gloves can
I'm not
protect
getting
me.
rid of any of my clothes.
Your gloves can, right?
I'm very cold already.
Darling, why you never bring your leather jacket?
And throw it inside.
You know the SpongeBob? 1 hour later.
Eternity later.
I think we should cover each other. So I off first and then later I on again. My hand is frozen.
Mine too.
Oh, can smell the soap here.
My fingers are. What soap? I
Can you
don't
smell the
smell
soap? Can you smell the soap?
Smell something?
It's not soap.
What if I'm punking you? Actually, I don't even know. I think I can smell. I think I can smell.
It's the sulfur smell.
No, there's a soap smell.
Rubbish.
Was it my clothing?
It's your clothing.
I really can smell it. Oh yeah, I can smell it. Can I? Yeah, I can smell it. Soapy smell, right? Yeah. Wow. So samey. Wait for the bubbles,
Yeah, the bubble not even on.
Yeah.
Taking how long? 11 minutes. Nice.
Wait, I don't get it. So there's a 2 layers. How do the 2 layers separate each other in the first place?
I think I see
Oh.
bubbling.
Oh.
Got bubbling.
Oh.
Ayolah. Si bubble.
I think it's just like that only.
Thanks for coming,
Maybe
guys.
go back.
Oh my god.
Oh my god. It's so cool.
Wow. No need wash clothes eh.
You bring your clothes here and wash.
Oh, look out.
Hot spring. Somebody got entertainment also. Eh?
Your own team.
Okay, I prepare for it to shoot high.
Explode, right? Then I suddenly drop my camera because I sat down.
烘干。 You getting more video?
Yeah, a bit. I think it's like slowly on there. Always
I
suddenly
want
like
it to be a big boom.
you say can 10 to 20 meters.
Kind of telling you. Up to 1 hour.
But this is self-induced one. Eh? This is
Yeah, I'm
self-induced.
thinking
Eh?
the up to 1 hour. I'm gonna stay for. Just take a
We
video.
got time, we got time.
Any more video? Bubbling intensify. You know, if this had subtitles, it would be like dubbing in New Zealand. Oh, yeah. Wow, it's nice.
Oh my god, can you hear the sound, can you hear the sound?
Wow.
Can I get
Yeah, like
the
fountains, yeah.
Musical fountain.
I can't even get the angle. Dude.
That's good, man.
10 meter only.
Is that all?
Yeah, so
Yeah. Oh, time to bathe. We'll smell it, we'll smell. Oh my god. Hey, Jane, close your mouth. I think I did something.
that was not bad, I guess.
Good, not bad.
Not bad. Left over.
No, after you switch off, then you're boom, one time.
Out of it.
Hey.